Well, hey, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name is John Campea. This is Robert Meyer Burnett, and this is Open Mic, a much more casual, laid-back kind of version of the John Campea Show, where really all we do is take your live comments and questions. If you got a comment or question you'd like Rob and I to address here on Open Mic today and make a topic of conversation amongst us and your peers, go ahead and fire that in on the Super Chats. We'll let you guys know that the Super Chats are already almost full because you guys fill them up. So it's only going to be open for a little while longer, but go ahead and fire in those questions. You still have some time to get some in there. And Rob, you know, before we get going to the live questions, I wanted to bring this up. So when we were doing the John Campea Show earlier,
yes,
we talked about the brand new TV spot for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And one of the things I said a little bit later in the show was I said, like, I don't know, when they're talking about covered in vibranium, maybe they're talking about Dr. Doom, a certain Latvian leader.
Yeah, you snuck that in there in the end there.
I slid that in, and I've seen a lot of people since then also had that same thought. It seems like a lot of people think they're talking about Dr. Doom. All right. So I've got two thoughts on this, and then I want to hear what you think about this. So on the one hand, I mean, it could be. We definitely have seen Marvel do little visual and audio cue misdirects in their trailers before to make us think they're talking about Namor, but really maybe we're talking about something else or whatever. And in that case, maybe it's Dr. Doom. My thought against it, though, I actually have kind of two thoughts against it. Number one, would they really slide in a piece of audio from like a post-credit scene or something like that into the trailer? I don't know that they would do that. But the other thing is this. The one thing that I also think kind of leans away from Doom is that if somebody's wearing vibranium armor, you don't say they're covered in vibranium. Like nobody said Black Panther was covered in vibranium. Right? You say he's wearing a suit made of vibranium or his armor is made of vibranium. That's just a semantic thing, granted. But like I said, during the show today, my thought went to a lot of other people's as well as that. But if you're going to have, you know, Namor, bare skin, fighting somebody in a Black Panther vibranium outfit, you almost have to have something that's going to level that out a little bit. And saying that, you know, he's covered in vibranium, that also might be something that connects Talocan with Wakanda and all that kind of stuff. So I know some people are now 100% convinced that they were talking about Dr. Doom. That, of course, reminds me of when we saw 3 scars on Thanos' face. Everybody was convinced that Wolverine was going to be in Infinity War. This is a little bit different, obviously, but I don't know. Like, where's your thinking on that now? When we hear the line covered in vibranium, could they be talking about Doom?
Here's what I think. So we saw in the trailers that there is some boat, like an oil tanker or something, that is assaulted. The first thing that I went to was a James Bond movie. There are a number of James Bond movies like Spy Who Loved Me, Moonraker, where something is stolen or attacked at the beginning of the movie. Like a Moonraker shuttle is stolen at the beginning of Moonraker. Spy Who Loved Me, a nuclear submarine is devoured by an oil tanker. It seems to me that was a vibranium heist. That's kind of what I took it as.
Well, because it looks like the Dora Milaje were lying in wait.
Yeah, or they were guarding.
Which would make it make sense that it was a vibranium shipment.
And it wouldn't surprise me if the Talocans stole vibranium. And
what if that's the first thing? That could be the first scene of the movie.
Because they always use. That's what I was thinking. Because they always use the beginnings of movies in these Marvel trailers. This is just my theory. Yeah. I don't know if it's true. And it would make sense that if the Talocans know Talocanians, I don't know what to say. If the Talocans know that Talosians, have a beef with, it sounds so Star Trek. If they have a beef with Wakanda, they know what they're doing. They're prepping for whatever assault they're going to make, or if that's what they need to do. So I would assume that it's the Talocans that steal the vibranium, and that's what's happened. Or something, and somehow they convert it.
Something that Namor can wear.
That he's wearing. So that's what I'm thinking. When they say he's covered in vibranium, I think they mean. I mean, obviously he's scantily clad. He's not wearing a full suit of armor, but he is wearing vibranium. Like if all of his stuff that he's wearing is in fact vibranium, he's covered in vibranium. You know, I think that's what they're saying. Although, I just don't think. Look, I think if we see Dr. Doom in this movie. He's going to be Victor Von Doom's statesman. I don't think we're going to see him in full bloom Doctor Doom. I don't think we're going to see that. I think that would come later. I think that we'll see the forging of that armor, but I don't think it's going to be in this movie.
All right. Interesting thought. All right, guys. What do you guys think about that? All that? Feel free to go ahead and fire in your thoughts and opinions and questions about that. So for now, let's get to what this show is supposed to be about. Let's get to your live comments and questions. So, Rob, what do we got up in the super chat?
Well,
there?
Dad Jokes sends in a $10 super chat and says, is Black Adam a top 10 comic book movie of all time? No. But damn, Dr. Fate and Hawkman have bumped themselves into my top 10 comic book movie characters of all time, especially the grandeur of Fate.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I would put either of them in the top 10 comic book movie characters at this point. There simply wasn't enough. I mean, Hawkman, I really liked Hawkman in this.
Loved him.
But he is very one-dimensional in this movie, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's the way they were going to use him in the movie, so that's totally fine. But I need more than just the, I'm kind of angry and I'm going to lay the law down. I need more than that for you to get into my top 10 characters of all time. And Dr. Fate, again, fantastic moments in it. We just didn't get enough of him for me to say he's a top 10 comic book character in a movie.
No,
right?
I mean, for me, look, I'll be honest. I loved seeing them on camera.
I did too. Yeah.
I loved it. So they were bumped up, but in my estimation, but we need more. We need more. I mean, other characters have earned the right to be called that on screen.
All right, what's next?
Sadhu says 3 billboards, Call Me By Your Name, and The Nice Guys help get me through tough times. What movies have done that for you? I'm about to watch Black Adam, by the way.
I don't know how 3 billboards gets you through a tough time. That's but I mean, just maybe it's just, movies mean so much, and that movie is brilliant. 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri is absolutely, completely, and utterly fantastic. I love that film. I've talked about this before, and I know it sounds like an odd one, but for me, it was Clerks 2. I've told the story before. Like, I watched Clerks 2 in a time in my life when I was facing like a really radical life direction changing decision, and then I saw Clerks 2 that kind of in a way directly dealt with it and gave me different perspectives on my own situation. And for that reason, that movie is incredibly special to me. So I'd say that. Do you have a movie for you that like that?
The movie All That Jazz, Bob Fosse's movie All That Jazz.
Yep.
I saw it when I was younger, and it just means a lot to me. But more recently, Almost Famous, which is now, I think, 21 years old or something. I love Almost Famous, and I put that on if something annoys me, or you have a setback, a career setback or something. I'll watch Almost Famous, the longer version.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
Glenn Mark says, I think Shyamalan's Devil is elevated horror.
I still remember that this, by the way, this is not a bad little movie.
No, it's not.
This is not a bad little movie. I wouldn't call it great, but it's not a bad little film. But I remember, I think I was it might have been at CinemaCon or it might have been another conference, when the first trailer for Devil was, they were debuting it. But nobody knew anything about the movie.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody knew anything about it. We got this horror film. And Devil, and they showed a bunch of the images from it, and these people in the elevator and blah, blah. And then near the end of the trailer, on screen, because from M. Night Shyamalan, and the whole audience laughed. That was like post Lady in the Water happening. And so when just like right at the beginning of the complete backlash of M. Night, that's when that happened. And thankfully now that the Sham Hammer has been slowly building his way back up. But yeah, I'll never forget to say, this looks good. Then from M. Night Shyamalan, the whole audience, I was like, no, that's too bad. All right, what's next?
I like Devil. Bobby Jackson says, do you think a Black Adam versus Superman movie makes more than Superman v Batman did?
No.
Yeah, I don't either.
Listen, while I've talked to a lot of people now who have seen Black Adam, and I am not sensing a lot of people loving this movie. I'm finding a lot of people are like me on it, actually, that this is really a bad film, but it's really fun.
Yes.
But it's really fun. And I don't know that that's going to, despite the fact that I'm going to go see it again tonight, I don't think it's going to get a lot of repeat viewings. I think a lot of people are going to see it. And I personally feel a lot of people are going to have a good time, because I had a good time. But I don't think a lot of people are going to be running out to see it again. I don't know that a lot of people are going to be rushing out to insist that their friends go see it. And now Batman versus Superman ended up making what? 700 million, 800 million at the box office, something like that. Can't remember. Good number. It's a good number. Batman versus Superman should have toyed with 1.7, 1.8 billion dollars, but whatever. It's a good number. I don't see it. I could see it doing well.
Yeah.
But I don't see it making, especially coming off of, what should have been a much better effort.
Agreed.
I mean, listen, I get it. I can hear the throngs of people saying, John, not every movie has to have a deep narrative be enjoyable. No, I understand that. And I'm listen, this coming from the guy who said I had a really good time watching Black Adam. I'm going to go see it again tonight. But there is no reason that you can't have all those fun things and have good dialogue and have good side characters and have a good narrative. Like, you don't have to have that to make an enjoyable movie, but the thing is with so much great stuff that's in Black Adam, this could have been with a half decent writer and a half decent director. This could have been, I kid you not, this is not hyperbole. This is a movie that could have flirted with cracking that top 10 greatest comic book movies of all time. If they had the narrative and the dialogue and story to go along with their amazing, tentpole moments in this film, these feel-good, exciting moments in the film, if they had both of those, this could have been a top 10 comic book movie, I think.
I mean, I have to say that I was a little perplexed by the script. It seemed like a throwback, and it didn't seem in keeping with where the comic book film genre has come since 2000. Like when Christian said, he nailed it when Harloff said it was like an old school 90s action movie. It felt like an old school 90s superhero movie too.
Yeah, I see somebody else bringing up in the live chat something about like compared to John Wick. See, John Wick is a great example of this. Black Adam could have been John Wick.
Yep.
John Wick, which is a movie that's just filled with these actually, it's very much like John Wick. So John Wick and Black Adam are both these movies filled with these amazing, edge of your seat, fantastic action, some great one-liners. But John Wick also painted this awesome mythology about the history of the assassins, the role of the Continental. Like even just that whole thing in the first John Wick, one of the greatest lines ever in a movie is just when the mob boss, the Russian boss, is like chewing out, is it John I always mispronounce Leguizamo's last name. He's chewing him out on the phone. You struck my son. Well, at this, around this car. Yeah. The car belonged to John Wick. Oh. And it's like that one moment, that one syllable word, oh, told you pages of exposition about what John Wick's name means. Like, so that John Wick was a movie that had all those big highlights like Black Adam delivered, but it also threw in amazing mythology building and amazing characters. So it could have been that. Yeah. It's still fun. I still liked it. I'm still going to go see it again, but it could have been John Wick level. All right.
Could have.
It could have been. All right. What's next?
Reamer Bulldog says, about to go see Black Adam and super excited for Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
I'll tell you what, seeing Black Adam, in which I had a good time, has increased my excitement about Black Panther. Because with Ryan Coogler, you're going to get all the great stuff that we got in Black Adam, but we're also going to get great characters, great dialogue, great all that kind of stuff too. So it made me even more excited for it.
And did you get to see a trailer for Black Panther in the theater? Because I haven't seen it in the theater yet.
They played it actually yesterday when I saw Black Adam.
I was waiting and they did.
They played the newer version of it. I don't think I've seen the first trailer in theaters.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Which is, I think, the better trailer. But the trailer they played yesterday was really, really good.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, what's next?
Glenn Mark says, Denver Pyle played Uncle Jesse in Hazard. I liked him in Grizzly Adams with number 7 as well. I wasn't insulting you, Rob. He said I look like Denver Pyle.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
In that picture, he looks more like, yes, I see where you're going with that.
All I ever knew from really was from Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
That I would watch as a kid an awful lot.
Yeah, I never watched Dukes of Hazzard as a kid.
Really?
I didn't like it. I liked Daisy Duke.
I mean, it was so simple. Like for a kid, it was so simple, and it's just weekly. It's like Sheriff Roscoe Pico. He had to say it every episode, but I don't know. We ate it up.
People loved it.
People loved it. We did.
Frank Sanders says, I feel I can wait for Black Adam on HBO Max, given the review.
Except I would say this. This is one of those movies where all the things that are good about it are better on the big screen.
I was going to say that. There's the stuff that's good, especially some of the fight scenes and seeing the heroes on the big screen. It's pretty cool.
I remember coming out of
and
the theater,
music.
Yeah, the music is actually quite good. And Ray made a really good point in our Out of the Theater review, which is even just the scenes where The Rock, he doesn't like not flying this way, but he's just straight up and down and hovering through the air.
I love that.
Visually, it's kind of awe-inspiring.
Yeah, it is.
And again, made better on a big screen. So I would suggest, even though, again, there's so much wrong with the movie, I think it's one you should check out and watch and experience on the big screen. I think you'll have a better time there. All right, what's next?
Shay says, I've heard quite a few people say they will not support Wakanda Forever due to them not recasting T'Challa. Do you think this will have a major effect on the box office sales in the long run?
I think this is idiotic.
Yeah.
I don't care if this bothers you that I'm saying this. It's idiotic. And I am somebody who completely and have argued that they should have recast T'Challa.
You've always said that.
I am team recast T'Challa. Totally. But I'm not going to see that movie. They didn't do what I wanted them to do. That's ridiculous. Here's the problem. Then you are endorsing and you're saying it would have been totally okay. Do you know the mountain of people that would said we refuse to go see this movie because they recast T'Challa? So you're saying it would have been totally cool for them to do that. You're saying it would have been totally fine if they had recast T'Challa, because that would have pissed off a lot of people. And I acknowledge this, even as somebody who is totally team recast T'Challa. I totally think they should have done that.
You've always been.
But to say, I'm not going to go see your movie because you, faced with an impossible choice where you had half the world screaming at you not to recast T'Challa, and you had half the world screaming at you, like me, to recast T'Challa, you had to make your voice, and we're going to punish you one way or the other. Whichever decision you make, we're going to punish you. No matter which way you go, you're going to be punished. Like, fuck that. That's stupid.
I've also never...
If you don't want to go see the movie because it doesn't look good to you, don't go see the movie because it doesn't look good to you. If you don't want to go see the movie because of whatever, 1,000 different reasons, a casting choice they made, a creative choice they made casting-wise, we're not going to see me. You know what? Good. Stay away from the theaters. Leave some more empty seats for me. Somebody who is on your side, by the way, leave more empty seats for me. Stay the fuck away from the theater. I don't give a shit.
I've just never understood that. Like, just because it's what you want? Why is what you want more important than the people that are actually putting hundreds of millions of dollars and years of their lives into this?
And who actually personally knew Chadwick.
Right.
Who actually had a relationship with Chadwick and worked side by side with Chadwick and created that character with Chadwick. I mean, listen, I am, again, totally, they should have recast him. I will keep saying that until they do. But to say it now, I'm not going to go see this movie. Like I've said for a long time, I think it's the dumbest creative decision to make Shuri the Black Panther, right? Clearly, for at least a part of this movie, they're making Shuri Black Panther. So I can either go, well, no, I'm not going to go see it. Or I can say, okay, that's not what I would have done. But let's see how it turned out. I'm going to go watch it. It's Ryan Coogler doing it. Let's go and see how it turned out.
And see, look, I don't necessarily, you've made a good point. How can she fight? You know, Black Panther's a hand-to-hand combatant that spent his entire life learning how to fight.
And she is not.
If she's suddenly a hand-to-hand combatant, that's going to take me out of the movie. Unless
Ryan Coogler will come up with something.
She's using her weapons because that's how she
Still
fights.
doing a lot of flips and everything that she.
Yeah.
But again, Ryan Coogler. Hey, listen, if we go into the movie and it comes across as stupid, I'm going to come out and say, well, that was stupid.
Yeah.
But I trust Ryan Coogler that even though he's making decisions that I wouldn't have made, well, guess what? There's a reason why Ryan Coogler is a world-famous, successful director, and I am not.
Right.
So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and we're going to go and we're going to see how he comes across it. I read one theory, too, that maybe it's not even Shuri in the Black Panther costume. What if it's like the car in the first Black Panther, and that's literally like some kind of android avatar
Could
that
be.
she's like controlling with a PlayStation 5 controller somewhere. I mean, again, I don't know. I'm just going to give Ryan Coogler the benefit of the doubt, both with the T'Challa thing, with the Shuri thing, with whatever else they're going to do, and say, you know what? You're a great storyteller. So I'm going to go see it doesn't automatically mean I'm going to like it, but I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and go check it out. I think that's what most of us, I think that's what our attitude should be. But I don't know. Some people are going to be people, so it's whatever it is.
Agreed.
All right, what's next?
Sadhu says, I rewatched Birdman, Steve Jobs, and Django, films I find to be endlessly rewatchable. What movies are like that for you, dude? Social Network.
I have
so many.
Literally hundreds.
But recently, Social Network and The Big Short are movies I find myself watching over.
You talk a lot about, especially The Big Short.
You know what? Because the way it just tells the story and is able to compress economics, like the subprime mortgage crisis, into a story you can follow, and it becomes compelling.
And it wasn't an easy one to follow.
No,
they moved pretty fast.
They move really fast, and I love the characters, and I love the ensemble cast. I just love the whole thing.
All right, what's next?
Bobby Jackson says, one of two. I read in a recent interview with Lupita Nyong'o where she said she thinks not replacing Chadwick was the right thing to do. And I have seen Winston Duke share similar thoughts.
And two?
Due to how close they all were. If Marvel decides to recast, do you think the cast will be on board with it by then? Or would they bow out and have to be recast as well?
I'll tell you, I guarantee you this 1,000%. If they had recast T'Challa, their quotes in the interviews would be, we think it was the right move to recast T'Challa. And this is the way we needed to honor him. This is them getting behind the collective decision.
Yeah.
And listen, I guarantee you that in making the decision about what to do, Kevin Feige and Ryan Coogler, I guarantee you, talked with the other cast. Talked with the rest of the cast to see where everybody was and what everybody's on.
Yeah.
And if they had made the decision to move forward, I think everybody would then get behind it. They decided to not recast, everybody was going to get behind it. So to answer the more direct question you ask, if they do recast later, do you think no, they're not, they'll definitely come back. Absolutely, they'll come back. And they would have been behind it if they decided to recast. And listen, I think there's a chance, there's a lot of us, I am open to the possibility, as hardcore recast T'Challa as I have been, I'm open to the possibility that I may walk out of this theater and go, yeah, they made the right decision for this movie. I mean, I don't know. Like, I haven't seen the movie yet.
Here's what I don't understand. What if they did? I mean, if you're going to recast T'Challa, there's ways. We're in the middle of the multiverse saga. I know people, like, I don't want him to be from the multiverse.
Yeah, neither do I.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily want that, but if they figure out a good way or a compelling way to bring T'Challa back, I mean, what if in the movie there's some way that they are bringing him back? We don't know.
Yeah. And again, Kevin Feige's recent comments about it was too soon does kind of suggest and imply that they will look at bringing, and
yes.
Being the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you can do anything. Somebody can go, wait, what about the sacred stone of Shakapakasasa? That we totally forgot we had the sacred stone of Shakapakasasa, which can bring back one beloved, family. They can come up with something like that to bring him back.
Yes.
I want a sacred stone of Shakapakasasa. All right, what's next?
Jimmy Lopez says, hey, crew, greetings from Roswell, New Mexico. I just want to say thank you for making my work days tremendously better. You rock. Rob, keep munching the green bean. Back, bring on the filthy.
The what?
I know what he's saying.
What am I missing?
It's a reference to She-Hulk's, She-Hulk and sexuality.
Oh. All right, then let's just move on from there.
Yeah, I had to think twice. Jimmy, always, Liam Jones says, hey, crew, have you seen Boiling Point starring Stephen Graham from Venom 2? One of my favorite movies from the last couple of years. I have not.
I was totally thinking of a different movie. I was thinking of Boiler Room.
Oh, I like with Vin Diesel.
Yeah, I was going to say, no, I have not seen. I
don't know at all. I'll have to go look up the trailer.
I'll keep my eyes open for it. Thanks for putting it on our radar. All right, what's next?
Orange Hand says, I wish more shows would determine the right number of episodes based on the story instead of writing their show to fit a pre-assigned episode quota.
I'm not convinced they don't.
Right. I'm not. Yes, I don't think so either. I mean, look, they know going in how many episodes they're going to make. They don't just make it up. I mean, episodes have to be scheduled and budgeted, and you have to know, like, okay, we have this much money to make a show. Marvel's spending how many millions even on She-Hulk? That they might be spending $100 million on 6 episodes.
Yeah.
In which means that each episode's 18 million or not, about 15 million or something. That's a lot of money.
It's
more. It's probably more than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a chicken and the egg sort of thing. Like, so if you write a story first and the story ends up being, well, the only way we can really tell the story is if it had 38 episodes. Well, you don't get 38 episodes. It almost seems like it would be, as a creator, you'd like to know the canvas you have before you start painting. And I think the direct analogy to that is here. I think almost as a creative, it'd be easier as a creative if you were told straight up, you have a 7-part story you can tell that needs to range from this length to this length an episode. Okay, now I know the size of my canvas and I can tell my story. That it might almost make the creative process a little bit easier that way.
Yeah.
In some way. I remember when we used to play, I mean, me and my friends, we always played a lot of role-playing games growing up, like real role-playing games, tabletop games, DC Heroes, Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, things like that. And we always liked it more when there was another role-playing game that brought in like a whole bunch. It was popular for a while. I'm trying to remember the name of it, that like was basically an anything goes kind of role-playing game, right? And what me and my friends realized is like, we almost like the ideas of the structure and more defined rules of a game make you be more creative.
Right.
It's like limitation breeds creativity. And so I think there's something to be said about that too. I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, I agree. But I agree with you.
All right.
And well, like something like Andor, doing them in these 3-episode blocks, they used the same sets, so they amortize their costs across episodes, which allows them to get more bang for your buck.
All right, what's next?
Tim Platt says, in the latest incident of Commander's incompetence, a fan won a raffle for $14K, received a check from the team, and it bounced. No one knows pain like Commanders fans.
Listen.
# sell the team.
There's a movie that's going to be made about, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, the Commanders is the modern name of what was called the Washington Redskins. They're now the Washington Commanders. And their owner, Dan Snyder, who more and more comes out every day about the incompetence of this jackalope. And it is crazy. Like, there's even stuff that's come out now that he was hiding money from the NFL. Like, certain amount of revenue from each NFL team goes into a pool for stuff like that. And they were they had 2 sets of books. So they were skimming off the NFL. There was the huge expose a couple of years ago about how the cheerleaders were treated and lawsuits were brought. And then the whole another set of things have been going on. And like every owner in the NFL wants him out. And the team has been a joke forever.
Right.
Unfortunately, despite the fact that they've got a great coach there right now. Rivera is coaching right now. And listen, they're going to make a movie about this someday. And if it wasn't real life, people would say that's too far-fetched. Like, it's crazy. They got to get that guy out of there. All right, what's next?
Jared Vester says, did they end up nibbling Rob? No, the answer to that is we were able to find our way home.
Just have no idea what that means, but I've got a feeling I want to keep it that way. All right, what's next?
Movie Fan 109 says, who do you think will win the 3 main fights at UFC 280? And do you think if Sean O'Malley wins, he could get a title fight?
If Sean O'Malley beats Peter Yan, you have to get a title fight. Like, a lot of people still think Peter Yan is the champ. I mean, he is the best fighter. Aljamain Sterling did beat him in their last fight, yes. But Peter Yan whooped his ass the fight before that. And a lot of people think that even though Sterling is wearing the belt right now, that Yan is the best in the division. If Sean O'Malley, who is, I think right now, the most entertaining fighter to watch fight in the UFC. He's the dude with the pink hair in there. He is, not only is he visually flamboyant, he is a dynamic, exciting fighter to watch fight. He's really, really fun. And Yan is a beast, straight up beast. So I'm actually taking the underdog on this. I'm taking O'Malley. I think O'Malley wins the fight, and you cannot. Peter Yan is the number 1 contender. He's the number 1 ranked fighter in the division. He's the number 1 contender. If Sean O'Malley beats him, he has to be next in line for a title fight. As far as Aljamain Sterling and TJ Dillashaw, I think TJ Dillashaw in his prime can beat Aljamain Sterling. I don't know that TJ Dillashaw is in his prime anymore. So that's going to be a very, very interesting fight. I cannot pick one on that. And as far as the main event goes, listen, Oliveira has been killing it, but he is up against a straight up killer. He is up against the best mixed martial artist in the world, even though he just retired, but he is still the best, is Khabib Nurmagomedov. He's still the best in the world. The Eagle is still in another class all his own, and this is his main protege.
Yeah.
And he is undefeated, and he looks like Nurmagomedov 2.0. He wins the title. So those are my picks for UFC. We'll see. I'm still really way too tight on that Aljamain TJ fight, though. We'll see. All right, what's next?
Exotic Runts says, hey guys, I've been reading horror novels the last couple of months. I've read Pet Sematary, Salem's Lot, The Winter People, The Troop, and Misery.
Wow.
Do you guys have any other recommendations for horror novels? First of all, John, I have hundreds. I'm a horror fan.
I'm not a horror novel guy. I don't read horror novels.
I read. So Pet Sematary, Stephen King's Pet Sematary, was a notorious book that he said he wouldn't release because it was too scary. I have to say, to this day, it's still the scariest book I ever read.
Did you see the Jason, the latest incarnation of the movie? Who was the star of that? Jason.
With Jason, like Friday the 13th, Jason?
No.
Oh, the new Pet
actor.
I never saw the new Pet Cemetery. Jason. Why
am I freezing? Guys in the live
played
chat.
John Connor and
who played John Connor? Jason Clarke. Thank you.
Clarke.
Orange Hand was. Did you see the latest iteration of the one Jason Clarke?
I haven't seen it.
It's so bad.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's so bad.
Listen, though, if I can recommend some horror novels to read, if you want to go back to the 80s, read John Skipp and Craig Spector's
Hey guys, we're back. Sorry about that. We had it's a software issue. We had a quick OBS freeze. Sorry about that. We seem to have corrected the issue. So you're right in the middle of your horror novel
recommendations. The Last Werewolf by Glenn Duncan, The Scream by John Skipp and Craig Spector, They Thirst by Robert McCammon, and if you like Stephen King, which you do, you got to read The Stand. You didn't say you read The Stand. It's one of his best books.
All right, what's next? Oh, we got
Movie Fan 109 says, John, since you're a sports fan, do you think you'd ever make a John Campea show for sports? And what do you think of the McCaffrey trade?
First of all, a Movie Fan tipped in $20. Thank you so much for that, for supporting us on that. The McCaffrey trade, I mean, if you're a San Francisco 49er fan, you are freaking dancing a jig right now. You didn't even give up an awful lot to get one of the premium. No,
they don't see this right.
Okay. You've given up very, very little to get one of the premium players in the league. Absolutely. And if you're a Panthers guy, you know what? With him on your team, you weren't going anywhere, right? So why not, while he is at peak value, trade him away and gather a bunch of future assets that you can actually rebuild with? So honestly, I think the 49ers won the trade, but I think it was a good move on both sides. So I even though I think San Francisco ultimately won the trade. What else? Bring that question back up again. There was something else in there that I totally forgot to answer.
Would you ever do a John Campea show for sports?
Oh, yeah, with all my free time. So no, like we're working 12 to 14-hour days. So
I bet if you did one on the weekends, like a once a month thing, like a sports overview of what you thought of the.
And will you hire my divorce lawyer if I start a whole secondary thing for myself on my weekends?
I could not afford to do that.
Yeah, neither can I. All right, what's next?
J Master 1 of 2 says, so 2 weeks ago, while reports about Blade's delay came to be true, Slash Film reported that Mahershala Ali is still fully on board the project to star and is also helping shape the film's creative decision. Sources for Slash Film indicated that reportedly part of the delay is to incorporate more rewrites that Mahershala Ali requested for the movie.
Let me say this first. Slash Film is one of the best outlets on. Like, you got your major ones, and then you got your next level ones down under that, right? Peter Soretta, who's the guy who runs Slash Film, he created the site. It's a fabulous site. That being said, I have heard very different things than they have.
Yeah,
I've heard very different things than they have. And listen, I'm not in the room. I don't know firsthand. I doubt Peter was in the room or that he knows firsthand either. But I will just say, that I have heard very, very different things, and I'll just leave it at that. So if and I'm also just going to say, look, I'm not going to be surprised if Mahershala Ali is still our Blade. I'm just saying also don't be totally surprised if he's not. If like February, March comes around and he's not Blade anymore. I won't be surprised either way. That's all I'm going to say. All right. What's next?
Terrier says, out of a score of 9 to 10 out of 6, how awesome is Free Enterprise? 26. Well, Terry, thank you. It's very nice. Frankly, it's a movie I made. Oh my God.
Wow.
You got me directing Femme Fatales and Free Enterprise at the same time. I would give it a 6.5 out of 10. If I ever get to do the 4K, I'm going to get it bumped up to 7.5. But I appreciate that. Thank
Rob,
you.
how long ago was this photo taken?
That photo was taken in 2011.
Wow, I wasn't even born yet.
So 11 years ago.
That's awesome.
Wait, you didn't just make this movie 11 years ago.
No, but the directing photo of me.
I thought that was you on set.
No,
of
that's
the
me on
movie.
set for Femme Fatales.
Oh, okay.
That was back, by the way, that was back when I was working out with the trainer and I weighed 50 pounds less than I weigh now.
Well,
I should do that again.
you look stronger now.
I should do that again.
All right, what's next?
Get in shape. Yonder Pride says, or Prid, Letitia Wright, Amelia Clark share, okay. Oh, Letitia Wright, Amelia Clark share Varanki Scroll Queen role. John,
okay.
you've mentioned Shuri may die in Black Panther 2. Doubt a Doctor Doom in Black Panther 2, but could see a Doom bot. Wait a minute. Do we know that Letitia Wright's in
Black
a
Panther
Secret
2?
Invasion?
No.
So why is she saying that they're sharing that role?
No, they're suggesting that the Skrull Queen could take over, could be different people
I see.
at different times.
I see.
Right? That makes much more sense because I did not recognize the name. We read that.
Well, yeah.
So just so those of you who are watching right now, but you weren't watching the John Campea show earlier, they sent in this question earlier on the show today.
Yeah, we didn't.
We weren't quite sure what it was they were talking about. Now that makes much more sense.
Yeah, now I get it.
I don't think so. And by the way, I'm not saying I doubt we're going to see Doctor Doom in there. I think there's a very decent chance. I don't know that he have a big regular role, or maybe he's the main villain of the film. I don't know, but we'll see.
We shall see.
Thank you for following up on that. I appreciate
Less
that.
than a month.
All right, what's next?
Terrier says, against Terry Markins in all the way in Norway, says, who did it better, Emmanuel in America or Africa?
I don't think I know what we're
Emmanuel, though. So the Emmanuel series. By the way, there's many different actresses who played Emmanuel, and I that's a tough one. I mean, I kind of like Laura Gemscher, who was, I guess you'd call her the African Emmanuel, but Sylvia Crystal, was Emmanuel ever in America? She's always been exotically foreign, right?
All right, what's next?
You've been drinking, Terry, I can tell. Jay Master says, so according to CBR via the Hot Mic podcast with Jeff Snyder and John Roca, on the podcast, Snyder reports that he is hearing a rumor that Adam Driver is in talks with Marvel for a Fantastic Four role.
I don't think... I might be wrong. I don't think that's true. I think what Jeff said, I might not be remembering this right, is that he did have talks with them. I don't think what Jeff was saying was that there are current ongoing talks with Adam Driver. I think what he was saying is that he did. I might not be remembering that correctly. But yeah, so we'll say, I don't expect that we'll see Adam Driver in Fantastic Four. I don't see Adam Driver having done Star Wars. I think he's looking to do the movies that are going to put the Oscars on his mantle now.
Right.
But I'm not counting it out. I'm definitely not counting it out. I'm saying if I had to guess, I don't think we'll see him. But hey, listen, more and more actors that you'd never think would do comic book movies are lining up to do comic book movies sometimes. So we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Andy says, I swear Black Adam's third act was written by Riverdale. It's effing awful. It's exactly what Riverdale would do, and Riverdale has already done plenty of it.
There's a point that you see in the trailer where Black Adam, and you've seen this in a couple of trailers, where he's a prisoner. He's like he's out. They've got the mask on him, whatever. There's an argument to be made that maybe the movie should have ended there because the movie doesn't do well after that.
No.
I mean, there's some one or two great fights that happen after it, but that's also all the things that are bad about the movie are really highlighted the most in the third act.
Let's just there's too much goofiness in this movie. It's kind of goofy.
Yeah. But I think the third act of the film, despite having a couple of big highlight moments, is the worst of the three acts. And if you had ended the movie where you see him in the trailers is kind of thing and said, that's just like to be continued or something like that.
Yeah.
I think I would have considered it a significantly better movie at that point, but hey, it is what it is. All right. What's next?
Andy says, I already got that. Motassim says, we live in a society where Lyle is better than Amsterdam. Well, judging by the box office, you're correct.
Yeah. Listen, it just goes to show you, look, Amsterdam is a movie made by an Academy Award winning excellent filmmaker, filled with Academy Award winning excellent casts. This should be a great shining example about why making a good movie is a Herculean task. You can even have all the right pieces and all the right people, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. So many film fans just think making a good movie is easy. I mean, listen, I'm probably guilty of talking like that sometimes too, or whatever, but it's an incredibly hard thing. So even sometimes even Steven Spielberg will make The Terminal once in a while. It just happens.
Yep.
It happens.
I agree.
All right. What's next?
Victor 5001 says, Rob, I know you saw Dark on Netflix. Next month, the creator's new show, 1899, comes out. It looks intriguing.
Is that a part of the Yellowstone series too?
It is not.
Okay. Okay.
I have to say, it's got that trailer with the boat. I'm totally intrigued because I have no idea what it's about, and I want to see it. I mean, Dark was a slow burn show that I love, and I can't wait to see their new show. I'm sure it's really intriguing. So,
all right, what's next?
Raymond Reddington says, if Spacey wins the court case in London, do you think he'll return to acting?
He is still acting. I believe he was cast in some smaller film. I think it's an Italian filmmaker or what. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult because, listen, straight up, Kevin Spacey was probably one of my top 10 currently working actors. I mean, he is a phenomenal performer. He's a phenomenal actor. But if he wins his criminal case, guess what? There's still several other cases against him. It's one of those things where there are so many people came forward that even if, and we mentioned this on the show earlier today, that even if he gets exonerated in every one of those, both the criminal and the civil cases, even if he gets exonerated in all of them, I don't know that there's any coming back. Like, there's just too many people came forward, and I don't know. I mean, like, here's the thing. I hope that if the reality is that he is actually completely innocent, that somehow, some way he gets to come back. But having not been there, I don't know. And I just think it's going to be a very, very hard climb back, even if he does win. But it's more than just the London case. There are several other civil cases that are pending him against him too. And it's a long road. If he's ever going to be able to come back, there's still a very, very long road ahead of him. So we'll see. It's about more than just the London case, unfortunately. All right, what's next?
Mike Sanchez just sent in a super chat.
Oh, thank you, man.
Connor Dorian, Charlie Manx, says Cartoon Network is merging with Warner Brothers Animation. Is that true?
I thought I heard whispers of
Wow.
that.
That's cool.
Is that true?
I don't know. It must be.
I believe I read that.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully then, obviously the animation at Warner Brothers.
You know what that means? A lot more layoffs.
Yeah.
It means you're going to have more critical redundancies. You're going to have like 2 sets of presidents, 2 sets of director of creative. You're going to have 2 sets of art department stuff. You're going to have 2 sets of whatever. It'll probably mean for more efficient content creation for them, but it also means there's going to be a lot of layoffs.
Yep.
Unfortunately. Yeah. All right. What's next?
Terry A once again says, if you could visit one country, this is a good question. If you could visit one country for free, which country would it be?
The country my genetics are from, but I've never been to. Italy.
I am right there.
I'm Italian. I've never been to Italy. My wife has been to Italy like 4 times, but I've never been.
I've been to France. I've been to Spain. I've been to Germany. I've been to Sweden. I've been to Denmark. I've never been to Italy. I really want to go to Florence, and I really want to go to Tuscany, and of course Rome.
I want to go to Calabria. That's where my family's from. There's a lot of places I want to go, but yeah, it's just weird that my wife has been there several times and I've never been.
I'd love to go.
All right, what's next?
Jay Master says, breaking per the Hollywood Reporter. Black Widow actress Florence Pugh will receive an 8-figure paycheck for her next 2 theatrical appearances as Yelena Belova. In which second MCU movie will Pugh show up in? Thoughts?
I don't know that I believe that.
If it's breaking, Hollywood Reporter.
I mean, even if the Hollywood Reporter is saying it, I don't know that I buy that. Let me go over to the Hollywood Reporter here for a second.
I mean, 8 figures is $10 million.
It's $10 million. I hate to say it.
Well, one of them's going to be Thunderbolts.
Well, one of them, yeah, obviously would be Thunderbolts. But
I would either say either Thunderbolts and Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars. Those would be the obvious.
I don't see the story. I'm on their front page. I'm on the Hollywood Reporter's front page right now, and I don't see this story anywhere. I totally believe you that it is there somewhere, but Florence Pugh is. I don't know that I would even put 6 actors that should be on a $10 million paycheck list. Florence Pugh isn't on that list. Her newest movie kind of tanked.
Well, she's never earned that kind of money.
And Marvel is notoriously cheap.
Yeah.
So even if the Hollywood Reporter is saying it, it could be true. But even if it's Hollywood Reporter saying, I'm going to have a hard time believing that she's not worth $10 million. And again, that's no slight on her. I don't think there are 6 actors in Hollywood total that are worth $10 million a film. So unless your last name's DiCaprio, The Rock, or Cruise, I don't know that you're worth $10 million a film.
With the MCU, that kind of money is setting a precedent Marvel doesn't want to set.
Yeah, because now every other actor that comes around is like, oh, you paid her $10 million, you can pay me. Because you pay her $10 million, what's Chris Hemsworth's next paycheck demand going to be? 30?
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, it might be true. If it is, it's a very odd choice.
Yeah, and the fact that it would be publicized.
Yeah.
Especially if she's in Thunderbolts, that's an ensemble
Well, just
movie.
Because a reporter finds out about it doesn't mean it was publicized.
That's true.
Right?
That is
so
true.
I don't know. We'll see.
If it's true, this is a picture of her right now.
And I haven't been able to find, I'm sure if you guys can send in a link, maybe drop a link in the description below to where the story is. I can't find it. But then again, I'm sitting here trying to do the show and search for something online at the same time.
Captain Brad Brickley said it's under the Hollywood Paydays section on the website, if that helps.
Oh, by the way, Captain Brad Brickley is an actual Washington State ferry captain. He captains ferries that are 300 feet long. He's a real ferry captain.
I've seen some people in the live chat are saying they believe it's actually a combined deal, a 2-film deal combined equaling 8, which would mean 5 a film. See, that I find that more believable.
Yeah.
5, she's a hot name. She hasn't earned the 10. I could see 5 is even a stretch, but I could see 5 per film for a $10 million deal.
Well, especially if she's now headlining the movie. Like maybe they're going to make another Black Widow and she's the star. It's hard to say.
All right, what's next?
Future Millionaire says, have you guys caught the leaks of House of the Dragon online? I hope the showrunners continue to make changes to the books to keep us guessing.
Nope, haven't seen it, and I will not.
Yeah,
why would I want to do that when I can watch it in its full, true glory on my giant screen at home while the rest of the world's watching at the same time? I ain't going to be watching none of this leak shit.
I don't have as big a screen of yours, but we just put up my 4K beautiful OLED 65-inch in Dolby Vision. Dolby Vision. It looks incredible. I'm not going to not watch it.
Why would I want to watch that leak shit?
No.
All right, what's next?
Yander Pride. Or Prid? Rob, your thoughts on Avenue 5? I just saw season 2 started. That's the show with Dr. House on a spaceship. You know, here's what's really weird. There is a Swedish movie called Anara, and it basically is the same premise, which I like better than this. This show is okay. It's okay.
I gave up on it after about 3 episodes.
Yeah,
it was all right.
It was all right.
It just never.
Okay. I don't love it.
Me.
I don't love it.
All right, what's next?
Don't love it. But it's not bad. Luke1234 says, I would like a remake of Chopping Mall. Jim Wynorski's Chopping Mall from 1986. Would you though?
I would.
Would you? Here's the thing. Do people go to malls anymore?
I do. I love going to malls. And I still love going to malls. That's where I love. Yeah, I love going to indoor malls.
All right. Yeah.
Like we go to Elle and I go to the Tyler Galleria, and so, yeah, I like.
I think I want to say Chopping Mall had an original title of like Killbots or something, and then they changed it to Chopping Mall.
All right, what's next?
Jay Master says, I am loving this 1 or 2 minute short clips that of the John Campea show that Rob is putting out with Chris Taylor and Jonathan. They're amazing. Jay, I'm glad. Let me just point out that we did one Wednesday for the Weekly Hero. Our views on the Weekly Hero went up by 10,000. Almost. And that we did it to promote, and Jonathan shot that. We did it specifically to promote the shows. So if we can get more views.
All right, what's next?
Jay Master says, oh, that was already him. Terrier says, what would you choose? What would you choose? RoboCop fighting vampires or Disney employees?
What?
Would you like to see RoboCop fight vampires or RoboCop fight Disney employees?
Am I missing something?
I think Terrier is just giving you a scenario.
I'll just pass. I have no idea what the meaning of that is.
I mean, right. I think it's an unfair fight with vampires because, they're undead, so they can't. What can RoboCop do to them?
Well, what could a vampire do to RoboCop?
That's true.
Break their fangs on his metal exoskeleton?
Although theoretically, RoboCop is partially human. So
but he's more machine than man.
He is. I don't know if vampires could survive off whatever the juices are flowing through his body, Murphy's body.
What's next?
Great hot toy, though. Terrier goes on to say, why does not the Swedish sci-fi movie Aniara get enough attention? I don't know. I love that film. It's one of my favorite science fiction films of the last 10 years. It's monumentally depressing, but beautiful, and it's a little slow, but it's awesome.
All right, what's next?
Oh, shoot. I ran out of dank nugs. 2 things I'm glad I didn't do before watching Black Adam. Listen to his theme song and watch the leaked post-credit scene because both were glorious.
Yeah, and listen, I'll tell you what. Having seen the post-credit scene before watching the movie, it was no less glorious. It was really...
It looked great. I mean, there is that... You do feel something when he does walk out.
Oh, absolutely. And what I really appreciated, because remember, they made this movie not having that post-credit scene. When they made this movie, Warner Brothers, under the old leadership, was not letting them use Superman. That was it. It was done. And it wasn't... They just shot this thing not terribly long ago, this post-credit scene, but... They found a way, like it's not just Black Adam walking down the street and then he looks inside a diner and Superman's sitting there eating soup going, what? They actually found a way to do the post-credit scene where it actually fit in with the movie and they made it make sense. And I really appreciated that.
I did too.
All right, guys. Hey, listen, we're going to take a second here before we finish off the remainder of our questions. And we're going to thank the sponsor of our video today, our friends over at DraftKings. Hey guys, we want to take a second and thank a sponsor of today's video, DraftKings. NBA fans, the wait is over. Basketball is back, so tip off the new season with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can make any $5 NBA moneyline bet and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. So check this out. In addition to the usual bets, everyone can boost up their winnings up to 100% with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Just go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and place a stepped-up same-game parlay today. With payouts bigger than ever, DraftKings Sportsbook is where you need to go to bet on the NBA. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the promo code Campea, that's CAMPEA. Make any $5 bet this week and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code Campea. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See the show notes for details. And thank you to our friends at DraftKings for sponsoring this episode of our open mic. All right, that down, let's get down the home stretch here. What do we got left here in the super chats?
John Glenmark says, is that jacket from Ray's closet, John? Very nice.
This is exactly the type of jacket that I would steal from Ray's closet. Oddly enough, I bought this one myself. You know what I'm going to do on the John Campea Show on Monday? Remember I told you how I bought my own shirt? I'm terrible at picking my own clothes. And I bought my own shirt because I thought it was, my wife looked at me and she's like, you're not wearing that out in public, are you? I'm like, oh. I think I'm going to wear that shirt on Monday just so you guys can see how bad my fashion
You got to do it.
But once in a while, I get lucky and I bought this one.
That's really cool.
And I really do like this one. Yeah,
it looks good. Where'd you get that?
Where I buy 90% of my clothes, Rob. Amazon. That's how I am.
What designer are you wearing, John?
Yeah, I'm wearing Amazon. I have zero fashion sensibilities. I buy my clothes on Amazon, except for my underwear, which I get from MeUndies. Thank you, guys. All right, what's next?
Oh shoot! I ran out of Dank Nug. Says Ticket to Paradise wasn't as bad as I thought.
You know what? I'm hearing that.
Yeah,
because it looks terrible. I remember they showed us the first previews for this at CinemaCon. And I'm like, well, what? You got Julia Roberts and George Clooney, and this is the movie you make? But to be fair, I'm actually hearing fairly decent things.
Yeah, people like it. Taylor liked it.
Yeah, Ann wants to go out and see it, so we're going to run out and see it too. All right, what's next?
Tom Willenberg says, last day today of Film Fest Ghent. Saw 35 films and 9 shorts over 12 days. Now I'm tired. That's pretty awesome. Where is Film Fest Ghent?
I'm not sure.
Is Ghent? Say I should know. We should know that.
But
we don't know.
Film festivals, especially the non-major ones, are so much fun.
I know.
I would run down to San Diego, even where there were no movies I was even looking forward to. I would sometimes just go down to the San Diego Film Festival.
I think that's happening like right now.
Is the San Diego Film Festival going on right now?
Because I saw a picture of Mance was down there.
You know, that's where I premiered my movie, Prince of Peace, God of War, at the San Diego Film Festival.
Nice.
A bunch of years ago. I would love that. But those festivals are so much fun. They're all the parties and things like that too, and going to see so much different storytelling, whatever. If you guys get chances to go to a film festival for a weekend, I think you'll have a really, really good time. It's a lot of fun. All right, what's next?
Shayon Saha says, no spoilers, John. I'm sorry, but I've just watched the leaked House of the Dragon episode 10, and oh boy, get ready for a season 8 type meltdown.
Well, to me, that's awesome because season 8 of Game of Thrones is awesome. I thought season 8 Game of Thrones is fantastic. So, by the way, a bunch of people in the live chat are letting us know that the Ghent Film Festival is in Belgium.
Oh,
which
that's
I've
cool.
also never been there. I would love to go there sometime.
But you know, when they say that season 8 type meltdown, I don't know what that means.
I guess we'll have to see it to know what we're talking about.
You know, season 8, it's one episode.
I'd love, but it makes me so happy. I can't wait to see what they're going to do. They're going to make some people cry. I love it. All right, what's next?
John Redcorn says, over or under 20%, Hamada runs the Sony Spider-Verse.
Too limiting. I honestly believe, so I'm going to go under 20, but not 0. Listen, I really do believe it's like when a great coach in the NBA loses their job because they're not on the same page with the ownership. You know that coach isn't going to be out of work long.
Right.
Hamada is not going to be out of work long. Now, I don't know, like he's not going to go and replace Kevin Feige or anything like that, but I can totally see Feige making room on his staff for them.
Could be.
I could totally see Paramount bring him in to develop some things. He will not be sitting on his couch watching YouTube videos for long. He's going to be back in a studio executive office sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be Sony. They seem to have their things go, but you know what? They could use some creative help over at Sony. So maybe, but I still think there's a much better possibility he becomes one of Feige's more trusted producers. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, what's next?
K Major says, hey, Rob, what is your favorite Bond film from each Bond actor? I just finished all the Connery Moore films.
That's a little too long of a question.
It's too, but I can give it to you. Goldfinger on Her Majesty's Secret Service, Spy Who Loved Me, Living Daylights, GoldenEye, and Casino Royale.
I miss GoldenEye. I love that movie. I love that game. I got to go pick up that game. I got to get it on an emulator or something.
They're re-releasing it on the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I heard about that. It's going to be remastered, too. Yep. All right. What's next?
Matt Sanders sends in a $9.99 super chat.
Oh, thank you.
And then that's loaded on the activity feed, but I found a few that did not load, so I'll go ahead and read those for you guys.
Great.
First up, we have Culture Wars Diplomacy. A kid's movie that I actually thought had something to say was Zombies on Disney+, dealing with metaphors of integration, Native Americans, and immigrants. They were sweet.
Huh.
I don't know that I've even heard. Oh, that's why you were prepping. I don't know that I've even. No, that looks horrible. Granted, it's just an image. I've not even heard of this, but it looks like something that would be on Disney. Have you heard of this one?
No, I'm just wondering if you're a zombie, where do you go for hair care to get your hair tinted green?
Yeah, that's.
Or does that just happen?
Wow, that looks so bad. but I haven't seen it. If you watched and you thought it was actually pretty good,
wow, it looks like, what is this, like an LGBTQ group against the undead? Is that what that is? What is that supposed to be? I'm not really sure.
All right,
do they
next?
dance?
It's a dance-off. The whole movie built up to a dance-off.
It's work. All right, next up, we have Orange Hand, who says, I don't get why Amazon would give $460 million to Rings of Power, which didn't help the writing, but only $200 million to the Wheel of Time. Why not give each show $300 million?
Because one has much bigger potential upside than the other one does. Let's face it, all other things being equal, a Lord of the Rings show is going to be infinitely more successful than the other one. And the viewing numbers proved it. Like whatever you thought about Rings of Power, the numbers were huge.
It's J.R. Tolkien is much more, I mean, the culture goes back further than Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time. Not to take anything away from Wheel of Time fans, but it's just the name value. And plus you're coming off those 6 movies.
Yeah, it's like saying, we've got this one movie called Dodo the Cup Boy, and we've got this other one called Wolverine. And why don't they give the equal amount of money to a Wolverine movie as Dodo the Cup Boy? Well, because one is going to make a lot more than the other one, and that is why. All right.
Please, somebody make a fan poster of Dodo the Cup Boy, just because I want it visualized.
I looked around and I saw a cup, so that's
Dodo the Cup Boy.
Yeah.
When his cup is only half full.
All right, what's next?
He's a dodo.
All right, next up is Glenn Marks, who says, as major parishes, I thought I was looking at David, Strahan Alphys before I realized it was Anton Lesser. Did you like Alphas?
David Strathairn.
Sorry, I don't know these names.
David Strahan? Okay, wait a second. As major parishes, I thought I was looking at David Strathairn Alphys before I realized it was Anton Lesser. Did you guys like Alphys? I don't remember what Alphys is.
I've never watched. It's a TV series
These
that I've
names
never
can't
watched.
be real.
It's one of the many X-Men kind of rip-off shows, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I never really watched it.
But I love David Strathairn. I love him.
Oh, he's fantastic.
It's funny. I just rewatched The Firm, and he plays Tom Cruise's older brother. Jailed older brother.
All right, what's next?
All right, I am just going to check one last time to make sure that is it, but I don't see any more that were skipped.
All right. Well, in that case, guys, that'll wrap it up for this installment of Open Mic. Thank you so much for being here and making this little video part of your afternoon. Thanks for just come by and hanging out with us as we just sit around, drink some Zevia and chat about the things you want to chat about. Thanks a lot for being here, guys. I will probably do an open spoiler discussion of Black Adam this weekend sometime. Keep your guys' eyes open for that when I might do it. I'm going to go see it again tonight. Give you guys a couple of days a chance to see it. Maybe Saturday, maybe Sunday before House of the Dragon debuts the finale. And we'll do that there. But otherwise, guys, hey, do us a favor. Click that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Leave comments below. All these things help our channel out and help to get our videos out to a wider audience as well. So for myself, sitting over here, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. We had Taylor behind the control panel there today running things. And to all you guys, thank you so much for joining us. My name is John Campea. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.